How close to death do you think you were?
I mean, I can't answer that question, you know. I mean, I was so in it, you know, that I couldn't have known, you know, I was an addict and I had no control over what I was doing. I was so kind of lost in what was going on, you know, that it was impossible for me to have any kind of perspective.
When you saw your brother go on television,
yeah,
what did you feel at the time?
To be honest with you, at the time I was upset with him because, you know, it felt like he was betraying me, but obviously in hindsight, I know why he did it. I know, obviously, he had no choice, you know, but at the time, you know, I was, as I say, so involved in what I was doing. I was such an addict, I couldn't really understand, do you know what I mean, what was going on. I just couldn't see it at all.
Do you feel grateful now for what your brother did?
I have been very lucky because I have people that love me, you know. My family have always been amazing. I've put them through a lot, you know.
Your dad once camped outside your house to stop the drugs being dropped off.
Yeah.
He set fire to the living room to get you to speak about your problems. I mean, these were dramatic steps that people were taking.
It was, I locked myself in a room and my dad was trying to get me out, so he set fire to some clothes. I mean, it was insane. I mean, my mum moved into my house at one point, and when I did try to leave the house, she would stand in front of the door and cry, and I couldn't leave. So, you know, having her there was a good thing because it kind of, I couldn't go past her.
And she would presumably beg you to stop.
Yeah.
But you couldn't.
I waited, you know, till there was an opportunity, then I would sneak off. That's what addicts do. We're very conniving.
It wasn't just your family trying to help you. Richard Branson, obviously, he was very attached to you. He organised you to go to rehab at his home in Oxfordshire.
I was really grateful. I mean, you know, Richard really tried to help me, you know, and I'll always thank him for that. You know, it was very sweet of him. He took me away from the glare of publicity, because obviously, you know, there were headlines, find him. There was like a hunt, and so Richard gave me a safe haven at his house, and that enabled me to, you know, try and get better. But I didn't really realise at the time how long a journey it was going to be.
You've never really talked about what happened that led to you going to prison. What do you want to say about it now?
It's a really difficult one, Piers, because when I was in court, I chose not to give evidence. I chose to just accept what was happening. And for me, you know, I felt that was the dignified thing to do. When I went to trial, I was a year clean, so I was already sober. So that person I was in court and the person that had been arrested, they were two different people. Plus, I just didn't want my mum to have to hear all this stuff in court. I just thought she's been through enough. I mean, I banned her from coming to the trial. But I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to accept it. I'm just going to accept the consequences of what happens. One of the things that people don't know is that I was prosecuted on my own evidence. I sent myself to prison. I told the police why I did what I did. Now, in hindsight, you know, I was having a psychotic episode. I was a drug addict. So I can't really sit here and say that my reasons for doing it were founded in any way. I wasn't insane. But I told the truth. I said, this is why I did it. You know, I was having a paranoid episode.
What do you accept happened that was just
I stopped him from leaving my apartment.
Right.
Yeah. So that I did that. You know, that was why I got done for.
Do you think that was worthy
That was terrible, what I did. And I'm absolutely ashamed and sorry about what I did. But, you know, it's been very difficult to talk about it. But what I did was wrong. You know, it was wrong. And I still pay the consequences for that now.
Have you ever said sorry for any of it?
I just did say sorry.
Yeah, I mean, to the guy, or...
Well...
Would you feel like you want to?
I really don't think that it would make any difference. And I always felt like not talking about it was dignified. Because I thought, if I talk about it, I'm just going to hurt him. I'm just going to hurt the people I love. Where's the upside?
What was the worst thing about prison for you?
The worst thing was really my family, you know, like reading stuff in the press and just the thought that, you know, when I spoke to them on the phone, just they were really worried about me and I just was, like, worried about them. You know, you end up worrying about other people more than yourself. And actually, when I was in prison, you know, a lot of my friends, you know, kind of blew me away with, they had friends that wrote to me every day. And
Stephen Fry wrote to you.
Stephen Fry wrote to me. I mean, you know, it was very humbling. You know, I knew that I'd kind of, I'd gone very well, that I'd messed things up really badly, and that I knew I had a lot of work to do. And so I'd kind of made a decision that once I got through it, I was really going to put my life back together.
Your mother said that she felt instinctively this might be the best thing that ever happened to you.
The best thing that happened to me was getting sober. That no question. March the 2nd, 2008, my friend Tony Marnock rang me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just lying here, feeling sorry for myself." And he said, "Come to an NA meeting." And I was like, "I don't want to come to this meeting." And he was like, "No, I'm going to send a cab for you. You're coming." And thank God I went. Thank God I went.